I'll have to fill that in later. It's interesting that some of this early stuff hasn't looped around. Jeez. Oh. So this is where I left off? Okay. That's what happens when you don't play for a week. You forget exactly what you were doing. Okay, so this is all... Okay, that's a little better. Alright. Oh boy. Alright, so let's try and do this properly. He says he's about ready to die. Ah, look where I'm at again. Another portion of the abandoned mine. Ha! kind of really didn't get too far, feels like. Okay. Well, that does me at some point. Might make a ladder to get up on top. That might actually not be a bad idea. possible house. Alright. Hey, Toxic. Sorry, I missed your message. The streaming software on here does not display messages for some stupid reason. Yeah, looking into basically the non default software that came with my PC. But I need help setting it up, so I'm just doing a very good job of procrastinating on it. Well, I was hoping not to listen to music. There we go. Or I could just sit in the menu the whole time. I was actually going to wrap this up, but obviously I can stay around and chat a little bit. Ooh, this is a lot more detailed. Well, in the software, one of my teammates in Rocket League, I think, is using OBS, so I just need to pick their brain and figure out what exactly I'm supposed to be doing. But I mean, other than that, like what I got going on works. It's annoying because I've missed messages before. Most of them from my Rocket League teammates who are inadvertently or stupidly messaging me through the stream rather than getting on the Discord. Um, so it's the so like on PS4, you got like two kind of layouts: the full screen mode, and then you can see like basically the chat. But when I was on the PS4, I would basically you get pinged in the upper right hand corner of my screen, just basically whenever a message went through. So I had like either my laptop or my phone up, so I could basically see like what was going on in chat while maintaining a full screen because the overlay just like cut into so much of the just kind of reduce the size of like the viewing screen, kind of like chopped it, probably lost like 20% of my screen that way. um, so like if you've looked at other streamers, like just depending on like how they have their software come up, you could basically just have the chat straight up pop up somewhere on the screen. um, not even have like a sidebar. You could just basically, or make it a transparent sidebar, um, overlaying on top of your screen, but still maintaining your full screen. Um, and like my PC setup is I have my monitor obviously right in front of me, and then the TV I was using is kind of basically like my second monitor. It's not great, but like it's serviceable for like watching my stream, watching other streams, or whatever other nonsense I want to have going on. Um, and also like it gives me just like a quick way of just accessing the stream if I need to like ban someone or something like that. I can just alt tab. Um, but yeah, the current streaming software I'm using doesn't. It only posts the chat messages, I think, if you're streaming to Facebook, if I remember correctly, which is dumb. But hey, here we are. It's 2019. Not everyone can put out a decent streaming software. I guess that's what I also get for using what came with my video card. And on your OBS comment, yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about OBS. won't go that far. Like, in honesty, so the laptop I was using, that thing has just been an overglorified paperweight, essentially. I mean, it is 10 years old, but basically the video card is mostly fried on it. And that happened like, I think I had that thing for like less than 2 years, and I started having video card problems. And it is a gaming laptop. And it just completely just basically blew itself out, where it wouldn't run. It doesn't run much. Like, I can watch videos and that sort of thing, but just games, it's just it wouldn't run anything current at the time. So that thing's just been basically inactive since 2013, maybe 14, something like that. And like, it's straight from Best Buy or whatever. In part because I did know some stuff a long time ago, but I stopped building computers, I don't know, like 2006, something like that. Having, basically built them 10 to 15 years, something like that. Just basically with the help of a friend. We kept building and just, rebuilding and all that, just replacing everything. And eventually I just got sick and tired of just, having to troubleshoot everything. It was just that actually it turned out it was easier to just like go buy a Dell or something like that. When my gaming rig at the time just finally crapped out. I used to just build my own computer. Again, I had a help from big time help from my friend. He helped. He basically helped build my original one. So we're talking 92, something like that. And then after a while, like I kind of figured out sort of what I was doing. But like he was always the go-to. Like, basically I would do it and I'd say, like, just make sure I'm doing everything right. So watch, hey, watch this. Make sure I don't screw it up. And basically I did that till 2006, till it finally just I just had a bunch of things go wrong, and it was just easier to buy a new computer than try and replace everything. And of course this was, I mean, I'll admit to it, this was also back in the days where it was free software, and I don't mean the legitimate way. The wild, wild west of the internet. So, like, none of the software on it was paid for unless I went out and bought it, which I did do. If I found something, I did buy. I never had a working copy of Windows, a legal copy at the time. But any games I bought, well, I mean, again, that was so long ago. That's 15 plus years. But I did, like, I when I was doing that, I did kind of like learn my chops, do all that, and do some stuff like, I had a very, very, very minor, like, super on the side troubleshooting job. I used to occasionally help out my friend at his work. But, that's because, like, on the weekends we basically just had free access to it. Um, so like, whenever he was doing a software or hardware upgrade for his work, I would basically go in there and just try and do my best to help pitch out. And I learned a lot of stuff, like and it sort of paid off when setting up like my actual network at my house. Helping him get everything set up because he moved a couple times. So it's just like in that sort of sense. But then all that knowledge just went out the window because I wasn't using it. And like on this current PC I have, so I can go into the story of it. This is a built PC. I had nothing to do with it. Um, I think it started as a joke in my Rocket League Club's Discord. They're basically, gonna GoFundMe and try and get me a PC. Um, I have no idea exactly what happened. Um, I mean, I've got some good ones, but there's also just some like I'll freely admit, just dead air of my life. But real quick on this PC, an anonymous person, I have no idea who, bought me my PC, no strings attached, and I am a cynical, just sarcastic asshole, maybe. Um, you know, and it was very humbling that whoever bought my PC did that just straight up out of the kindness of heart. I don't know who, um, and I'm not really going to pursue it. Um, but yeah. Um, so yeah, I have a $1,500 PC uh, next to the rest of my stuff that I have here. Also, a lot of the podcast stories like that I would have that are I'd say podcast worthy are just mostly random gaming stuff, ranging from let's see, when the original Diablo came out, just a was it 48 hour? I think it was a 48 hour no sleep marathon on it. Um, and my same friend, my you know PC builder friend, both him and I probably would have gone till like Monday morning, if I didn't have like a hockey game at the time, just to like just a lot of it's gaming from like really from geez 91, 93, uh, up until about 2006. And there was a stretch from like basically when StarCraft came out to about 2006, 2008. That was involved in some sort of semi-amateur gaming stuff. Yeah, and this is like just it's super amateur stuff. Like it doesn't even compare to like what's going on today. Like I think the biggest thing at the time was were the Quake tournaments, and that was about it. And then obviously this decade I have like thrown in 5 years worth of Magic the Gathering stories. Magic the Gathering is like the best game ever made and kind of like one of the worst games ever made. Not to mention a cruel mistress on your pocketbook. I mean, also I say all this is like, I don't know. I say this is oh, don't mind. You can totally flex. I think I've. So I will say that, let's see, when did I do that 48? That was like 96, I believe. So I was 20. So basically at like the height of my metabolism. Um, you know, I've done I've done like, 24 hours and that sort of like nonsense, 24, 36, that sort of thing like back in the day. But yeah, I'm not sure if I've ever pulled out 72. Let me go through that. So let's see. Diablo came out on a Friday. I had work that day, right? No, I probably took off. I was waiting on my friend, so I probably, yeah, yeah. That's around your age. That's where a lot of my like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna like stay up Friday night or Saturday night, and then I'm easily on 36 36 hours, no sleep, and I just feel fine. But see, on Diablo, I was probably up, let's see, probably up, we'll say, charitably 11. Roll that to Saturday, roll that to, so that's 48, and another 1260. Because back in the day, I had that hockey league that had, it wasn't like an 11 o'clock game at night. Yeah, I was probably up 62 hours, so I don't have you beat. Um, I mean, I probably could have done it again if I didn't have this hockey game, which just afterwards just sapped all the energy out. But I mean, I'd pulled off, 20, no sleep, but that's the stuff you can do when you're young. These days, if I try it, I can't even try it. I can occasionally get to 2, but that's also just like, in part, like my body is, you know, so used to waking up. Excuse me, so used to waking up at like 5:30 in the morning for work. So I really can't do that anymore. And I also have a dog that won't let me sleep late. That's right, I'm looking at you, dog. I'm looking at you. But the 72 hours thing is like, that's impressive. Like, it's amazing, like it's amazing what you can what you can do. I say this not as a bad thing, but like what you can do or what you can put up with, just like when you're young, when just like, yeah, I'm not going to sleep this weekend. On Monday I'll just be fine. nowadays it's like, it's like the next day it's 12:30. I really should consider about getting into bed. Funny enough, like the Wii is actually like one of the few major systems I haven't owned. Like I think my brother, when he was living here at the time, had a Wii, and we played a ton of Tiger Woods golf. Because his fiance and me, so we played just a ton of that. Um, when they were both living here, that was super fun. But yeah, I've owned a lot of the major consoles. Doggy, what are you doing? Do you just want to come up here? You good old furball. You big old ham. Though you do gotta wait a little bit. I am chatting. So you're gonna have to wait a bit. I apologize. But what? She is a good girl. She is also a glorious mess. She is. Let's see. She is a pointer, boxer, beagle, another hound thrown in there, and Lord knows what else. She is a glorious mutt. And she's mostly a good dog. She has her moments. But she's also a good dog. Right? Yeah. See, if I had a webcam, I could show you off. If you would let me pick you up. Which you probably wouldn't. See, that's another great glorious mess of a dog. I've had a German Shepherd mixed with a miniature collie. So she turned out not to be a huge German Shepherd, but a less than 40-pound dog. Um, we also had a Golden Lab um, come through here. We had I can't even describe this dog. He was Black Lab and Lord knows what else, but didn't have the Labrador. Like, um, didn't have the Labrador like hyper. Probably one of the most laid back dogs I've ever seen. Yeah, I mean, the only reason why they're bad dogs is if you just basically like don't train them properly or just straight up ignore them. I mean, there are some dogs that have a tendency to get into trouble, like this Beagle mix my brother currently has. He's always in trouble, and they've tried to do what they can. He's like also like a very sweet dog. He's obviously part Beagle, Lord knows what else, but like he's just like such a big ham, but like he just can't help himself. Jumps on the kitchen counters, like then they've had him for a while, and they just can't train that part out of him. Like I know if you like wave a hamburger in front of a dog, like a dog's just like, oh look, food, I'm gonna take it. But this is actually a very neutral dog. He's great sometimes, but he's kind of a jerk and kind of likes really getting into trouble. Kind of like how you act on occasion if you're unsupervised and you think you have a chance, right? Like that time you ate 4 pounds worth of turkey. But that was our fault. Yeah, you still want more attention, huh? Just 24/7 attention. Yeah, that would probably best describe that dog as chaotic neutral. For what? The I guess the German Shepherd miniature collie. No, it was 40. It was under 40 pounds, like 35 or something like that. Like we got her when she was a puppy, and it's just like you see just complete German Shepherd. And it's like, oh wow, this is probably going to be like 60, 80 60-pound dog, maybe 80 pounds. Um, you know, and then she just stopped growing. And taking her to vets, it's like, oh yeah, that might be like some sort of like smaller mix in her. So it's like, oh, like we weren't disappointed, but it was just like funny, you know. Oh, the turkey? No, it was the turkey was I was guessing 4 pounds. I was just trying to figure out like what was left over. Like it could have been two. But yeah, my dog. We left out. We were having Thanksgiving dinner. And been running back and forth between the kitchen and downstairs at my mom's house. Um, and I haven't had any problems with my dog. Um, so none of us really thought about it. I mean, she had like snatch stuff before. Um, and I of course scolded her, but it's just like, well, she was acting, just normal and all that. Probably wanders off upstairs and like, we got involved in like whatever we were doing, and the next thing we hear is just like plates kind of rattling, not falling off like the counter or anything, but just like, you know, just like a plate, just like someone's like slightly tipping it over. We hear that a couple times, and it's just like, well, what is that? And then like, I think we went upstairs, and it wasn't me. Whoever went upstairs and then saw just my dog, just getting all the leftovers. So we had no turkey leftovers. She didn't get sick. She didn't get sick or anything. So it probably wasn't like that much. But again, like we usually have stuff that gets sent home with us. So maybe it was just like a 5 pound bird or whatever, or whatever that would come out to, after carving. 6 pound bird, 8 pound bird, something like that. But she didn't get sick or anything, and she had a really good meal, and I was upset with her for like 30 seconds, and it's just like, you look back on it, it's just like, well, in hindsight, actually, she is part beagle, and that was my brother and his wife were there. It's just like, well, we know the one likes to get in trouble, so we shouldn't be surprised that the other one would eventually try and go for it. It's not like she hasn't done this before, but but again, like, part of it is just like our fault for leaving it out, just giving her the opportunity. But that was, I don't know how long ago, 5, 6 years, maybe 7. Was even long. It might have been even longer than that. Might have been 9 years ago, even. I'm just actually trying to place it. Oh, actually, I know when. Yeah, it was in 2011, so it was 8 years ago, I believe. Because also we were slightly distracted at the time, just because of what was going on with me personally at the time, was because I was in the middle of round 1 with a cancer fight. So it's just like, yeah, I'll bring the dog over. We'll see what I can scarf down. Spoiler alert, it probably wasn't a lot. even though I did try and gorge myself. Um, yeah, because I was kind of okay, yeah, it was probably about it was probably 2011 because I remember being just slightly disappointed. I'll say like and like basically in this case, it's just basically like my dog could get her paws up, and the plate was just a little too close to the counter. So again, it's just kind of like our fault for just not being slightly extra careful. But yeah, there's also dogs that are just like well behaved and just like won't touch that stuff, you know. But again, like I'm not gonna fault the dog for being a dog. Like no matter how well behaved they are, they can just there's sometimes just instincts kick in. Isn't that right? Sometimes you just can't help yourself. Right? Yeah. I mean, also, though, like, dogs will sometimes beg and, they'll just sit there begging, but they won't do anything. Again, like a couple, my brother has 4 dogs, including a Great Dane, and, like, the only one that's a problem is that Beagle mix, but, the other 3, well, one's like a small French Bulldog. It's just not like she can get up to the plate, and they'll just, like, stare at you. The Beagle mix will, of course, think about trying to take your food, but the others are like, well, probably because, again, the Beagle gets in so much trouble about that. They know not to get, but they'll just be like, oh, please. It's just like, well, I know you're not going to take it, so I don't have to worry. But you can't leave anything unattended at my brother's house because of that silly Beagle. I should at least let this run since I have iron that I need to smelt. Well, again, having had dogs most of my life, like, being around them, like, they're not too complicated, but, each breed is just different, so you just have to know how well they behave, how the individual dog behaves, you know, that sort of thing. You know, I'm 43. I occasionally have like useful pieces of information. Most of the time I do not, but you know. Doggy, are we having a staring contest? Come here. Just come here. You should look and see what's going on. No? Okay. But you'll stay right here, right? Okay, what was that? As I try to semi-multitask. Yeah, they do a pretty good job in this game. I mean, here I am just in game, standing around doing nothing, staring at a furnace. Now it's just raining it, you know. Sounds comparable to the normal world when you know, there's just nothing going on and that's all you can hear. Which is probably why it's also good white noise. You're waiting on me, aren't you, doggy? I know. See, now I realize if I was, again, as smart as I thought I was, because it's a peaceful world, I could have easily have smelted away my backlog of iron here. Oh, hells. Possibly. But she could also be just staring at the ceiling too. I was afraid I was going to have to do that. Okay. We'll let the rain come in. Is that high enough? Yes, it is. Okay. Ha, I've outsmarted you, game. Not really. You know, because now I'm out of stone. Yeah. As far as dog is concerned, like, you know, as long as she's content, doesn't matter what she's staring at. Right? Right? You're doing a pretty good job ignoring me. Right? Oh, I've acknowledged you now? Well, Tree, I'm going to have to get you away anyways. Hmm. 2, 3, 4, 5. So is that right above? Well, I did always say I wanted to make an impossible house, so... Okay. Alright, hey, yeah, that's perfectly alright. Again, real life over nonsense, right? So, yeah, get your sleep. Have a good night, though. I will, of course, still keep streaming at whatever passes for my usual time, so I apologize in advance if I miss anything you say in chat until I can get OBS working in a reasonable manner. Alright, have a good night, Toxic. I'm actually going to log off as well. I might play something else, but I'm definitely going to call it here. Alright. I'm still filing this under Minecraft. But that's perfectly fine. What is this? Oh, language. Okay. So I should play around with the menu more. Alright. I'm calling it. Have a good night.